I ain't ever seen no demons.
Stop scrolling. You won't believe the shocking truth about the money hidden in Ryan Coogler's Sinners. From gangster gold to Depression-era desperation. I'm exposing the 10 wildest ways cash, coins, and currency shape every twist in the film. Do you know that the real Al Capone empire pulled off $100 million per year? Or that Mississippi towns printed their own money with wooden coins? Stick around, because we're breaking down the jaw-dropping facts behind the dollars, deals, vampires, little secrets, and all the elements related to money from the film Sinner. Tainted Money and Al Capone's Empire. The movie protagonists Smoke and Stack return from Chicago with blood money tied to the organized crime. In the late 1920s, Al Capone's criminal empire in Chicago employed over 1,000 people and paid more than $300,000 per week in payroll, making the most powerful mob boss in that era. If you still go nearby Miami and you do one of those tours, you can find a place that was owned by Al Capone. So now imagine when Stack and Smoke took money from both mafias of the Irish and the Italian. How much money they got. The movie's rural Mississippi backdrop reflects the collapse of cotton prices. In 1932, a cotton sold for less than $0.05 per pound, down from $1 during World War I. And that's the reason sharecroppers earn less than 50 cents per day for picking cotton. And another theme in the film is the loss of land due to the unpaid taxes. 1/4 of all land in Mississippi, that's more than 400,000 acres, was sold at tax sales in a single day, affecting nearly 40,000 farms. Demonstrated the instability and the problems that people faced in that time. Imagine being a sharecropper in that time. Horrible, isn't it? The vampires and sinners symbolize predatory systems that drain marginalized communities. Their gold coins tempt characters with false promises of equality, echoing how exploitative loans and sharecropping contracts trap Black American Southerners in debt. Gold coins in the movie symbolize both temptation and the global economic crisis. In 1932, the US dollar was still pegged to gold at $20 per ounce, but the system was collapsing. By 1934, the US raised the official price of gold to $35 per ounce, a move that reflected the turmoil and shifting value of money during that depression. Now, if you invest in gold today, you never know, but it's always good to have in their portfolio some of it. During the Great Depression, cash shortages forced Mississippi communities to use wooden tokens, script, and IOUs for basic transactions. In Sinners, this reality is mirrored when a patron tries to pay with wooden coins at Club Juke. The debate over the legitimacy reflects the desperation of marginalized groups to participate in an economy rigged against them. The twins' acceptance of the coins, despite their lack of monetary value, symbolizes solidarity over greed. Nationwide, thousands of towns and organizations created script in the 1930s as a direct response to the economic crisis and lack of circulating US dollars. During the movie, you could see how strange was having Irish beer or whiskey. Well, that was because of the Prohibition from 1920 to 1933. The production, sale, and transportation of alcoholic beverage was banned across the US. But this only fueled a massive underground industry. On the black market, whiskey could sold for $3 to $12 per gallon, meaning a 55-gallon barrel might fetch $330, which is an annual income of $3,300. That's the reason Al Capone running the syndicates that gross millions of dollars, equivalent on quarterly profits to $0.5 million per day in today's money. The scarcity and risk drove up prices, and rare Prohibition-era whiskey bottles now fetch thousands of dollars at auction, underscoring the enduring value and legacy of this illicit market, proving that Prohibition is always pretty bad. Mississippi Dire's finances are echoing the film's depiction of public institutions. At the start of 1932, the state treasury had just $1,000 on hand. while debt and unpaid obligation totaling nearly $50 million. This led to the creation of the Mississippi first sales tax, 2% that year, doubling the revenue. Now, the film's atmosphere of economic despair is grounded. Between 1929 and 32, Mississippi lost 24,000 jobs in manufacturing, lumbering, fishing, and railroads. And more than 1,000 small plants were closed during this period. In the film, characters struggle to afford basic necessities. Historical records show that in 1932, staple foods like potatoes sold as little as 0.02 per pound in Mississippi, reflecting the poverty and deflation in that time. Before directing Sinners, Ryan Coogler was $200,000 in debt from film school loans, a financial burden he carried while making Creed in 2015. For Sinners, Coogler personally covered $20 million in production's overage after the film's budget balanced from $80 to $100 million, using his fees and back compensation to fund the gap. His deal with Warner Brothers included a rare 5% first dollar gross share, allowing him to earn 5% of the film's revenue starting from its opening weekend. Let's suppose that if Sinners makes $500 million, he could be making $25 million. With this income, he could buy roughly 6.25 million cups of coffee, a symbolic contrast to his early debt struggles. The financial terms also grant Coogler's ownership of the film after 25 years, a concession that Warner Brothers rarely offers. Because think about this film now is going to be a cult both in horror movies, in epoch time movies, in African American movies, and actually in horror. When you're thinking and you compare with earlier movies, this is one of the movies with the highest budget possible. And Warner Brothers justified the Coogler's risk by betting on his track record, Black Panther and Creed. Well, that's amazing stuff. And we have to remember something. Let's suppose the movie makes $300 million. 50% of that will go to the theaters, so $150 million. And then another $50 million will go to the production studio. So the cool thing about the deal from Coogler's is that he came from loans to making a lot of money and now becoming one of the most powerful film directors in the African American communities and in the US as well. So if you haven't watched the movie Sinners, what are you waiting for? It's crazy. Sometimes it feels like a mess. Sometimes it feels like beautiful, and the music is spectacular. And I'll also recommend to follow Jeremy Jams, which is my favorite YouTube reviewer. And if you want to talk about money, finance, and investment, well, just subscribe for this channel. Thank you very much.